That really motivates me. And then just like I said, watching my body change, adding tissue. Lee's always said this, we're artists and our medium is flesh, so we're sculpting, but it's not like you just be like, oh, I think this needs a little more and slap some clay on, it's like, oh, I think this needs a little more, and then you eat and train your ass off for 8 months to do it, so it's a labor of love for sure, but it's definitely one that motivates me and that excites me, so it makes me feel alive.
So a lot of times what happens is that people tend to externalize goals, and this I see very commonly with bodybuilders, for instance, because they'll set a sight on winning a Mr. Universe or a Mr. Olympia or some title, and that's an external goal. That's a goal that's outside of yourself, and that depends on the opinions of others, in this case the panel of judges. And there's not much that you can do on that day, on the day of the competition, to sway the opinion of the judges. The work is already done. But let's stop and think about that. That work is something that is internalized. Okay, so that is an internal goal that you have when you internalize an objective, in this case to change your body, to put on a certain amount of muscle tissue, to have a certain amount of muscularity, whatever it is that's needed to win the show. If you set that as the objective and you internalize that, then that is what should motivate you. So to become a better bodybuilder, to create a winning physique and not so much to win a title. Once you create the winning physique, you'll be able to attain the title eventually.
Something that we started doing on our flying exercises, flying being basically just this is the only flies we do besides pec deck, and pec deck it doesn't matter. Spot them from the elbows, not from the hands, because it reinforces driving the elbow across your body instead of just bringing your hands together. We're not trying to bring our hands together here, we're trying to get our elbows as far across our body as possible.
That's not to say that you don't look at your competition or that you don't have mentors, or champions that you look up to along the way. Those are role models, and those are things that we aspire to, but that internal motivation that you need, that drive that you need on a daily basis to create a championship physique, that's got to come from inside. That's got to come from your desire to change the way that you look, to create a new you.
Last year I feel like Tampa was definitely a better look than the Olympia. Everyone in my camp agrees with that, and that being said, the last 3 or 4 mornings now, I guess, Bryan and my dad aren't really ones to blow smoke up my ass at all, and they've got pretty good eyes, and both of them have been like, the last 3 mornings you've gotten up, we could have put tan on you and you could have beat yourself at Tampa. So, with 6 days left, we have so much left to do in terms of, fine tuning and little things that are just really going to improve the look. That being said, we really are big coasted in and land the airplane kind of people. We're not going to do anything nuts. We're really happy with how I look right now. So, like I said, glide it in, don't crash the airplane at the very end, and have a nice little landing. But yeah, our flight's Tuesday, and then get there and get settled in and get to doing what we do best. So really looking forward to having y'all along. This prep series has been the funnest one we've done by a long shot. You know, both the ones we've done with Gasp and with Labrada at this point. You know, we've done a bunch of videos with both this whole prep. So, you know, I've had a lot of fun doing it, and I can't tell you how much the support means to me. You know, it's really cool. You know, Bryan and I are human beings. We are not robots. We have, you know, really shitty days. We have low energy days, you know, but no matter what kind of day we're having, you know, at the end of it, him and I, like at some point while we're training or when we finish up or, you know, whatever, it's like, I had fun today, or, you know, this is cool, or, you know, like what we're doing is cool, you know, we're building something. So, couldn't do that without y'all. Just wanted to say thank you for that, and, you know, really looking forward to finishing this prep out strong and, you know, going and doing what I set out to do.
The power.
I'll tell you what I get from other people these days, and it's also what I get from social media personally, is I get a very swift kick in the ass and a reminder of all the monsters out there that are taking care of business if I don't. You know, I'll get on Instagram and I'll see people, you know, like James Hollingshed and Ian and, you know, who else, younger guys, you know, that are just really, really hungry, Akeem, Sergio, you know, all these guys, Nick, you know, that are just absolutely killing it day in and day out, like I do too. But, you know, like I said, we're all humans and all of us have, you know, days where we're not really feeling it. But, you know, getting to go on and, you know, seeing any of those guys handling their business really, you know, checks me if I'm feeling sorry for myself. But, you know, as far as like actual motivation, my motivation comes from a couple things. It's one, you know, really grinding out my numbers, you know, beating my numbers, knowing that when I walked in the gym today, I am better than I was 7 days ago when I did that same workout. That's always been a thing for me. It's always been a goal of mine. It's always how I've trained since I've been like 13, 14 years old for football, because I was blessed enough to have a coach that made us track all of our lifts even then. So that really motivates me. And then just like I said, watching my body change, you know, adding tissue. You know, Lee's always said this, you know, we're artists and our medium is flesh. You know, so we're sculpting, but it's not like you just be like, oh, I think this needs a little more and slap some clay on. You know, it's like, oh, I think this needs a little more, and then you eat and train your ass off for 8 months to do it. You know, so it's a labor of love for sure, but it's definitely one that motivates me and that excites me.
Yeah, and I think so. I mean, that lat pull down is perfect. Just the way it's built, and the arm path is perfect on it, and also doing the same exercises in the same gym. Good example. Both of us kind of feeling it today, a little tired. You know, I'm under like 3.5 weeks out. He's less than a week out, but we both matched our numbers. I actually did +1 today, so you know, it doesn't matter how you feel. Sometimes that's the good thing about tracking everything is you know you're doing the correct amount if you're at least matching, especially if you're beating it like I am today. So.
crazy in bodybuilding? Crazy in bodybuilding is having a level of discipline that most people can't imagine sustaining for longer than like a 12 or a 14 or a 16 week prep for 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years straight. Those are the pros. Those are the good pros. You know, those are the people that you see in the magazines. Those are the people that you see winning everything. And there are exceptions to every single rule. But even the best of the best with the craziest genetics in the world, I promise you they've put in a decade. And that's what's crazy, is knowing that for 10 years straight, you are going to have 3/4 of your body brutally sore. You're constantly going to be nicked up and banged up. You're constantly going to be exhausted. You're constantly going to be absolutely stuffed in the off season and constantly starving when you're in prep. You know, it's one of those things that, you know, to be a good bodybuilder, to be, you know, like that bodybuilding crazy, you got to be very comfortable with being uncomfortable. That's what makes good bodybuilders. You know, that's why wrestlers make such good bodybuilders, because they're comfortable with being uncomfortable. So,
and enjoying that.
Yeah, and you know, learning to enjoy it. You know, life's, and this is, you know, like whatever, you know, cheesy, but life is way too short to be miserable for 3 or 4 months out of the year, every single year. Because, you know, it's like you see so many people like, oh my God, I hate this, I hate this, I hate this for 4 months straight. And it's like, dude, for what? 33% of your life, like 33% of every year, you're just hating it? Like, why?
I don't understand why. If you don't like this, then why do you do it?
Yeah.
I mean, I get tired of stuff, but every single day, man, I'm having so much fun. I mean, look at what we do. We get to hang out and lift weights and film for YouTube, and like, that's my job. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Life is good.
I'm running out of brain power. Let's eat this cream rice.
All right. I'm going to do some cardio.